All right, I'm going live right now, starting bag 4 of Commander Cody. So it should be fun. We're getting ready to get this started right now, so hopefully y'all be here before too long. Anyway, so this could quite possibly be the last live I get to do if, TikTok goes away here in the next 4 days, so we should see what happens. Yeah, I'm sitting here building bag 4 of Commander Cody. Let's see here. Just quietly building. Gotta get the right page. So bag 4, about to dump it all out. Yeah, so I'm building bag 4, Commander Cody, probably my last TikTok live. As we know, TikTok's probably gonna disappear here in a few days, so I thought I'd build my last live build. Hope y'all have a good Wednesday, halfway through the week, right? Anyway, it's good to see you all tonight. Yeah, so this is bag 4 of Commander Cody. It's going to be my last one, so, But, I'm going to go out of town this weekend, so I'll be with the family all weekend and won't get a chance to build any TikTok stuff or do any more TikTok. So basically after 5 o'clock tomorrow, I'm done with TikTok unless it sticks around. I happen to think it's going to stick around, but you never know. So yeah, building bag 4 of Commander Cody. It's a 5-bag build, so this is almost the very last build. So I'm looking forward to it. See y'all there. And then I got to decide what's next. So I picked up this Lego yesterday, the Droidica, which is a good Lego. Picked it up for like 65 bucks. It's a cool Lego. But I don't know if I'm going to build this one next, these brick heads next, or this trash compactor scene next. But I've got so much back that I've got to go build. But anyway, we're getting started on bag 4 for quite probably my last TikTok live. Oh, thanks for that glitter bag. Yeah, I appreciate that, Gracie. Let's see here. So trying to build this, it's kind of confusing. So this goes to the side right now. So this right now, if you built the helmets before, basically the first bag, you're building the outside. Second bag, you usually build the top. Third bag, you build the base. And fourth bag, you start filling the stuff in. So this is where I screw things up usually. So step 212 requires a gray piece and a 4-part. 4-part, there we go. Trying not to spill stuff. So how was your guys' week so far? For me, it wasn't bad. Today was a long day at work, but got one more week and then I'm off for the 4-day weekend. Woohoo, gotta love being in the military, get a 4-day weekend. All right, so we put these 2 pieces here. All right, and that is step 212 and step 213 done. Look at that, getting there right now. Think Ari liking it. Hey, go ahead and share this live. Like I said, it could quite possibly be the last TikTok live I get to do. But I feel lucky, right? So I just really started doing TikTok kind of somewhat serious at the middle of December. And so I built up enough people that I can do a live. And so some people didn't get to do one. I at least get to do this as my 3rd live. And I'm enjoying it. What about you? What do you guys like? Are you guys Lego builders? What do you guys do for fun? What do y'all do to pass time? What are y'all going to do when TikTok goes away, right? When TikTok goes away and all of a sudden we have to actually look at our families again because we won't be able to have our face in there. Hey, Jen, thanks for joining live. I'm building TikToks right now. Building this, probably my very last TikTok live. Let's see here. So it looks like it goes. Trying to get here. So this right here. Oh, you know what? I got ahead of myself. So step 215 has this piece. And let's see here, looking around, this piece. So yeah, we're putting this together here. And then a 4-piece. Anyway, so yeah, I'm excited. I got this piece really cheap. Got it for like 30 bucks, which if you shop for helmets, this one runs about $65 on lego.com. But I got it at Walmart for like 35 bucks, which was a good steal, I thought. But then the next big question is, what do I do after this build, right? So, like I said, this might be the last thing I build on TikTok. So that kind of makes me sad. I've kind of enjoyed this content. Really the thing was, I guess I missed out. I should have been around doing TikTok when COVID hit, but I was too busy doing other things. But now, let's see here. Sorry, I'm not trying to ignore you all. I'm just trying to figure the step here. So, boom. All right, so there we go. Yeah. So yeah, just having a good build. Enjoying myself. Yeah, be sure to share this right now if those of you are still watching. I know I got lots of questions. Like, I wonder what you guys are going to do. You know, you think we're going to have TikTok go away? Is it going to disappear? Are we going to wake up on Sunday and all of a sudden, like, have to talk to our families because our face won't be in our phones anymore? Are we going to have to figure the next step out? I don't know. You know, as long as I can remember, we've had TikTok, right? It's just been kind of part of what we do. And now we don't want the Chinese to have our data. I mean, we want them to have to buy it, not just get it because we're giving it to them, I guess. That's the argument, at least. I don't know. If the Chinese are spying on me, man, you're in for some bad luck because there's nothing important in my life. Like, anyway. What about, are you guys doing that whole, like, mass follow thing right now where everyone's following everybody? Is that what you're doing? You know, I think that a lot of people are doing the mass follow for one of three reasons. First, they either think that TikTok's going to go away and so it's not a big deal. Some are doing it because they think TikTok's not going to go away and so they want to get a lot of followers and they're trying to monetize. I don't know why they do it, but I would just encourage you to still do TikTok like it's normal, right? Follow those people who are creating stuff that you want to see. So if you like Legos, if you like D&D, if you like life coaching stuff, follow me. If not, don't follow me. But what you want is you want to make sure you're still following people that you want to see. So that way if TikTok does stick around, you're not getting stuck seeing a bunch of content you don't want to see. So yeah, I'm all about the whole, you know, mass following thing, but make sure you're mass following those people that you want to see what they're doing. So, hey, like if you like Legos, if you like D&D, if you like life coaching type stuff, relationship stuff, definitely follow me. I'd appreciate it because I personally, this is just the Lego chaplain talking, and I don't know anything more than anyone else. I personally don't think that we're going to see TikTok go away. I don't see it. I think it's going to stick around. I think you have too many Americans using it, and politicians are, the one thing about politicians that's always true is they care about being reelected. So I don't think it's going to go away. I really don't. Of course, I could be wrong. I've been wrong about lots of things. I thought Tennessee was going to win the national championship this year, so of course I was wrong. I thought I could build Legos without messing up, but I mess up all the time. So, man, I got 5 of you watching right now. That's great. Give me some content. Tell me where you guys are from. Tell me what you guys think about TikTok. Is it going to go away? Give me some comments, you know. So, again, I'm doing this step of the build. And if you've done the helmets, this is always a really confusing part for me because, like, they look the same, but they're very different. And if you do them wrong, then it messes the whole thing up. And so this goes here. Yeah. Gracie, appreciate you liking my live. Okay, joined. Yeah. So right now I'm just trying to find this next piece. There we go. There we go. Look at that. We are coming together. So that is step 216. And I'm pretty sure when this is all said and done that this is going to be the back of Commander Cody. I think that's what I'm working on. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure that's what I'm working on. I know I can look in the book and know for sure, but I don't always do that. Let's see here. Next step, I have one of these. I have two blocks. So yeah, I don't know. I don't do a good job organizing my pieces, so I'm always digging through trying to find what I need. And then sometimes like, oh, I don't have what I need because I put it in the wrong spot. You know what I realize, and maybe you guys too, 90% of the time, if you're like, oh, I'm missing a piece, it's not that the piece is missing, it's that you put the piece in the wrong place. I know there's someone in our house that lives with us, and she loves to come and pick apart my builds and tell me what I did wrong. Because I'm like, oh, I got it all right. And they're like, no, you didn't, because I mess up a lot. And what I realized, too, is I've been trying to build these while being on live, and it actually is more complicated than you think, because you're trying to engage with people while at the same time trying to build stuff, and it gets kind of confusing. I don't know. So how was your guys' day this week? It's Wednesday, halfway through the work week. You know, if you're like me, you're excited because you got a 4-day coming up. You're going to be off. I'm going to be off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But then, of course, I'll be gone all weekend enjoying my family. I can't wait to do that, going to LA. But yeah, it's crazy because I don't know what's going to happen with TikTok. I don't know if it's going to be here when we get back. So I'm going to leave Friday, go spend some time with my family, not have TikTok on, and then come back Monday and see what's happening. Now, I've got some plans on what I could do, right? Like, everyone's talking about, oh, I'm going to go to Red Note. Like, dude, don't go to Red Note. Red Note is like all in Mandarin. You can't read it. It's not going to be this good thing. And everyone's like, I'm going to go to Red Note. That's going to show the government. No, please. Like, I don't want to go to anything that I don't understand the language it's in. And maybe that's me just being a little biased. But you think our government's crazy. I don't trust the Chinese government for nothing. So for the Chinese spy that's watching me right now on TikTok, I don't trust your government at all. Anyway, so yeah, here we are. We're at step 218. It's coming together. Again, I'm still pretty confident this is going to be the back. But I'm really interested in what you guys think. Do you think that you're going to wake up on Sunday morning and not have TikTok? Or do you think that the government's going to cave or the Supreme Court's going to get involved? I can't say 100% either way. Like, I'd love to say TikTok's not going away. But I could be wrong. I personally think it's going to stick around because I think that there's too much money at stake, right? I mean, the government wants us to have TikTok so they can tax it, right? So they don't want it to go away. I don't know. But yeah, so I've been doing helmets. So when I got back into, I don't know what you guys like to build. I like to build the helmets. I got into them about, I don't know, 3 years ago. So I've been building helmets for a while. And they're usually kind of a fun build. This is the last, I have one more helmet. So I have a pretty big backlog of Star Wars stuff right now to build. I've got this Droideka, so even though like I told the wife I wasn't going to buy any more Legos till my birthday, I saw this and I got this Lego. So my next build is either going to be this Droideka, this brick headset, or this trash compactor scene from Star Wars. So I don't know what I'm going to build next, but that's what I'm going to do. I don't know. So TikTok Live is really unique, right? So you spend most of your time just talking to yourself, hoping that people engage. And, you know, sometimes it's boring. And, like, really, I have a hard time believing that, like, people want to watch me build Legos. But maybe you do. I don't know. I know my wife thinks it's boring to watch. But anyway, I got to find one. All right, so there's the 3 pieces. And then we do these 2 pieces right here and right here. So that's what we're doing next. So anyway, no, I wonder, what do you all do for fun? Like, what have you all been doing this week? It's getting to be Wednesday. Are you all ready for the weekend? The gauntlets. Oh, yes. Yes, the gauntlets. So yeah, I got both of them right here. And I think someone came to my room and messed up. So I have both the Nano Gauntlet and the Infinity Gauntlet. And excuse the fingers. I hope they don't. I didn't do that. Someone came in my office and started messing stuff around. But so I've got these 2 gauntlets. They're kind of my build set. Also, like, I've got, actually, I can show you things. So I got this build. So these 2 gauntlets right here, right? And then I got this piece right here, which I'm telling you, this is one of my favorite pieces. I've got the, I should just take my phone sometimes. So I got this. I got the Wolverine adamantium claws, so it's really cool. I don't know, a lot of cool parts. Like, so I've been doing a lot of Lego stuff. But right now my backlog is sitting at about 15 and I got to figure out how to get through it. And, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do next. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. Then I got to put this little gray piece. So yeah, that's where I'm at, you know. Sitting here in between everything else going on, trying to figure out, like, what is the world going to look like when they cancel a TikTok? You know, I don't even know, man. Like, TikTok was here. Like, TikTok is kind of like what we all did to avoid COVID, right? We just drove stuff, and we just kind of figured out what we're going to do. And now we got to figure out what to do after that. I know so, you know, if you want to see what I do, please, I mean, I do Flip at Lego Chaplain at Flip, at Lego Chaplain at Instagram, at Lego Chaplain at YouTube. So I'm trying to build a following other places. But yeah, have any of you guys been doing the whole mass follow trend? You know, the mass follow trend seemed pretty cool, like, but I think people are kind of doing it for, like I said, 1 of 3 reasons. They're either doing it because they're like me and their gut tells them that it's not going anywhere, like TikTok's going to be around. Or they're doing it because they're like, it doesn't matter because TikTok's not going to be here. Or they're doing it because I don't know why they're doing it. Like, I know And it's like, I've benefited from it, right? I'm not going to lie. Like, I went from, like, having almost no followers to over 550 followers. And trust me, like, I know that there's not 550 people that want to see here and watch me build Legos, see, like, Legos coming together. But at the same time, I'm not going to say stop watching, right? Because I like you to do it. But anyway. So yeah, we're getting through this. This is now step 222. So as it's coming together, step 222. Then we got to pull out a square right here, a square. Oh, I got no followers right now. Look. Oh, Gracie came back. Hey, Terry, thanks for coming and watching for a little bit. I'm building bag 4 of this stuff. Cams, thanks for joining. Look, I'm building stuff here. I just wonder what you guys are doing this week. It's getting to Wednesday. I don't know. I think that, you know, as we get closer to TikTok disappearing, we're trying to figure out what the next things are, right? Like, what do we do next? And I'm interested to see where everyone's going to go when TikTok disappears. I don't think TikTok's going anywhere, though. I think when push comes to shove, we're still going to have TikTok because our government wants TikTok for us. Because reality is, I don't think the Chinese are the ones using TikTok to figure out what's going on with us, right? I think the government is spying on us all the time. I don't know, maybe they're not. But like I said, if the Chinese spies are following me, they're in for a rude awakening because I don't have much going on. Let's see here. I almost skipped a step. I was almost done. I almost skipped a step. So, like, I've got to do something here. I hate it when I get ahead of myself and I almost skip a step because then I'm like, oh, I got to figure it out. And it's really complicated sometimes. So, yeah, sitting here building bag 3. All right, so we're going to do this, and then I need this piece and this piece. All right. All right, Skibidi Reasons, what's going on? We're just sitting here building some stuff here, building bag 3 of this Lego Cody. So it's actually coming together pretty good right now. Oh, crap, where'd that piece go? There it is. I will tell you, I have made other builds, but this has probably been the easiest helmet I've done, except for the one problem I had earlier. What's going on here? Wait for it. Let's see here. Now I gotta figure what's going on. You know what? Time for this piece right here. Hold on. This is how I know I've messed up, because I gotta come and get the Lego police remover, because I screwed up. You know, honestly, I think my most used... People ask me, what is the most used Lego piece you have? The Lego brick remover is my most used piece. I will tell you that right now. The Lego brick remover is my most used piece because I'm always screwing stuff up. Let's see here. So I had to go back to a step. So this is where I'm at. Let's see here. So here... All right, so see, I see where I screwed up already. So I go here and here. Here, I'm going backwards and figure out where I screwed up. And here. So that's there. And then it's sitting here trying to figure out what I did wrong, and it's chasing me for a second. So I'm having to dig through this because I screwed something up. So that is right there. But it's not. Hold on. I'm having to go back and figure out what I did wrong here. So, excuse me for a second. I'm having to dig back through. Like I said, I know a lot of people have different pieces that are number one used piece. My number one used piece is this Lego brick separator because I'm always having to go back and figure out what I did wrong. And that's okay. I think it's okay to be like, hey, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing sometimes. That's why I don't use super glue, because I struggle sometimes to figure this out. So let me go back a step here. So there's that. Okay. There's that. So I see what I did wrong, and now I'm trying to fix it. So that right there. This right here. All right. Here. There's that. All right. I think I figured out what I did. It took me about 5 minutes to figure it out, but I think I'm in the right spot now. Let's see here. Let's see. It took me a minute to get there. And sometimes it does. Sometimes it just takes us a minute to figure out what we did wrong. And then once we do, we're like, oh, that's what I did wrong. Once we figure out where we're at, then we can come back and do it backwards. And that's kind of what I had to do. I had to figure out what I did wrong so I can come back and put together and have it make sense. And, you know, that's okay. Like I said, I'm not perfect. And no one's perfect. I think that's kind of what Legos kind of helped me learn, too, that, hey, you know what? It's okay because no one's perfect. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. And we're all trying to figure this out. But there we go. I'm getting one step closer to being done. Let's see here. Then I got to put this here. So I'm trying to figure something out. Aha. Trying to piece this together here. So there's a lot of reasons why I don't use super glue. This is one of them because I have a hard time. Yeah, thanks for following me there. I saw someone just follow me. I appreciate that. Let me tell you, like, that's very supportive. I don't know if some of y'all are doing the mass follow thing. I looked at it, and I do follow. I'm doing a lot of following right now, but I think really, like I said, the mass following thing is being driven by like one of three things. One, people think that TikTok's going away, and so because it's going away, why care? Just follow everybody, right? Two, it's being done by people like me who think, you know what? TikTok's not really going anywhere. The government's going to save it. Or third, they're trying to monetize it. And so what I tell you, as I said, yes, like do the mass follow thing, but do it right. Follow those people who are creating content that you want to see. So like, you know, if you like Legos and D&D and some of the life coaching stuff that I do, man, yeah, follow me. But don't follow me if you don't like my content. If you don't like Legos or the stuff I'm going to talk about, then all I'm going to do is mess up your algorithm. And for those people who are mass following because they're trying to build up their algorithms, or trying to build their follower base so they can monetize it, man, if you're doing that mass follow thing, you're doing it random. If TikTok does stick around, you're really not going to be able to monetize it because you're going to put your stuff in front of the wrong people. So I've got some friends that have been doing TikTok for a long time, and they keep saying that organic growth is the best way to grow. And so that's the thing I just try to tell people. Organic growth is the best way to grow. So grow by people who like your content. Don't grow by just being random. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody. It makes sense to me. But anyway, hey, my one follower right now, look at that one person watching. I'll tell you, I don't know about you, but Legos kind of like, everyone has to have their thing, right? Their thing that gives them like peace of mind. Their things that calms them down. And Lego's kind of my thing that calms me down, even though I struggle to build them right the first time. In fact, I would say I never build them right the first time. In fact, if I get to the end of this build and I have no extra parts left over, I want to feel like I've won. Actually, speaking of extra parts, this is my tea container. And in my tea container, I have all my extra parts. Look at that. But that smells like cinnamon tea now, so I don't know if I can keep that up for long. Yeah, it's time for a Hershey kiss. So yeah, this might very well be my last TikTok live. You know, it might be the last TikTok live because we're going to go, you know, TikTok's going away. And when it goes away, we won't have live anymore. But I told the wife, I said, hey, I want to go to my nerd room and I want to do one more TikTok live. So all of y'all have joined. You've joined my last TikTok live. Unless TikTok sticks around, which I think TikTok will stick around. But now I got to find a piece. So this is where I struggle because sometimes I can't find the piece. So I'm like, well, I'll just come back to it. So I'll come back to it because I know that piece is going to be easy to fix. Let's see here. This, and this, and this. Oh, but I need 4 of them. So yeah, I mean, I try to be entertaining. I don't know if I am. So, one thing I talked about this week on Monday, I did a post on Monday where I did some of my, some kind of my life coaching chaplaincy stuff. And I told people, look, you know what? To make life good, to make life fulfilling, you have to find your why. You have to find that thing in life that keeps you going, right? That thing that gives you purpose. Because I tell people, and I mean it, to live a fulfilled life, you have to serve something greater than yourself, right? Because if you are the end-all, be-all of everything, right, and everything is about you, then really that doesn't give your life purpose and meaning and direction. And so I say that, for people to be truly happy, for you to live a really fulfilled life. Whoa, that was bright. Hey, what's going on, Chris? Hey, yeah. So I was telling people on Monday that, by the way, thanks for joining my very last TikTok live, unless, of course, somehow we get saved. Who knows? Man, that's bright. I have this all wrong. Oh, look at that. I didn't even realize I had that lamp off. Anyway, so yeah, I'm building my last TikTok live. Oh yeah. But anyway, I was telling people today, and I told people on Monday, that a key part of finding joy and finding satisfaction in life is understanding your why. In other words, what is it that gives your life purpose, meaning, and direction, right? What is that thing that when life is hard, that thing when things aren't going your way makes you keep going? Because the reality is, we know that life can be difficult. And, I tell people that I have 3 rules for life. Life is either hard, has been hard, or is about to be hard. Sometimes I say it a little more blunt. Life either does suck, has sucked, or will suck, right? And so when you're in that moment where life is like that, having a well-defined idea of why you exist keeps you going. Having that thing that makes you wake up and keep moving is that thing that gives you why. And so I think, what we should do is we should be able to clearly communicate the why of our existence. In other words, what gives us purpose, meaning, and direction. And when we understand the why, when we understand why we exist, then when we lay down at night, we can start saying, okay, did my actions today, did they bring me closer or farther away from my why? Like I can tell you, like there are some whys that I exist. Like, my faith is an important part of my why. My family is an important part of my why. I'm lucky with my job that I get to take care of soldiers for a living. As an Army chaplain, like my entire responsibility is to take care of people. And so there's a lot of important things in my why. And so what I get to do at the end of the day is I get to say, okay, with the time that I had, with the energy that I had, did I do the best for my family? Did I do the best for the soldiers that I care for? Did I live a life that reflects the values that I say I want to live? And I would love to say that I get to put my head in the pillow every night and say, yes, I kicked today's ass. Like I did everything. I'm sorry, I cussed. Chaplain cussed. I did good. Like I got everything done I was supposed to get done. But man, there are some days that I get to the end of the day and I'm like, man, I was not a good husband. I was selfish. I wasn't a good father. Like there are some days that I get to the end of the day and I'm like, man, I did not do the best I could do today. And so when that happens, I get to say, okay, well, I guess I get to try again tomorrow. Because, the reality is you can't undo today. So one of my favorite authors is C.S. Lewis. And C.S. Lewis, in one of his writings, said that you can't change your beginning. In other words, you can't change your start. But what you can do is you can go from today and change the ending. And so that's why I think it's important to understand your why. And when it's time to go to bed at night or sometime during the day, reflect and say, okay, did I live a life that was closer to my why? Did I get closer to the thing that I believe is why I exist? And if not, well, what do I have to change in myself to make that happen. Jordan Peterson, in his book, 12 Rules for Life, which, you know, maybe you hate him or love him. I don't know what you think about Jordan Peterson, but he does say this. He said, you should ask yourself, what is one thing that you're willing to do to change, right? So when you get to the end of the day and you're like, man, you know, I really didn't live in a way that helps me meet my why. Well, then ask yourself, okay, well, if I didn't, what is one thing that I'm willing to change? And it's important because you have to ask yourself what that one thing is, because until you know what it is, you're not able to change. And it has to be something you're willing to do, right? It can't be something you're unwilling to do, because if you're unwilling to do it, guess what? You're not going to do it. And so that's what I tell people. Like, you know, find your why, live for your why, and then reflect on whether or not you're doing that. And look, speaking of why is it that I got to this build and I'm missing that piece there and I'm missing that piece there? I hope it's not in my, you know, I know, Christy, I know you use the helmet. I've got my tea container, and so now all my extra Legos smell like tea. So maybe I'll pull something out of here I need. But so yeah, that part built this right here. So we're getting closer. I don't know, and that's, but you know, that's the great thing. Like, again, I am not a licensed counselor yet, so everything I say is about educational purposes, but I really think that my son has the same brand. Dude, look, let me tell you, I drink this every morning. So I take a Stanley to work every day with tea, and I love it. It's kind of my go-to, but no, that's why I think it's important to understand what it is you're willing to do, right? Like, what is it you're willing to change about yourself? And I think it gets dangerous if we're not willing to change, right? Because if we're not willing to change, we have problems, because none of us are perfect. And like, for example, these pieces right here, look at that. That's the way tea he'll drink. Yeah, I drink this cinnamon tea every single day. So I got to the point here, right, where this whole time, like, oh, I've got this build right, but these pieces are the wrong direction. And because these pieces are the wrong direction, I can't finish this. So now I've got to open the top up. I thought so. Let me see here. Hold on. I have to go back now and look. Yep. I messed up. So yeah, knowing your why helps. Oh, crap. All right, now I got to figure out. Now I got to figure out what I did here. So this has got to go here. This has got to go here. This has got to go here. And I got to find out where this piece went. Where'd it go? I'm lost now. Oh, I know where this goes. I think. I screwed up and now I'm lost. All right, so now this is the fun part. I got to go back to the book. So yeah, I was just talking about, like, understanding your why is important. Understand the purpose of why you exist. Like right now, I got to figure out why this is not where it needs to be. So yeah, a lot of the times the problem is we just don't want to live a reflective life, right? We don't want to reflect on how we could be better because we just want to assume, well, I'm good enough. And you know, I think that's the biggest lie we tell ourselves, is like that we don't need to adjust, we don't need to change. But I really think that a key part of life is this ability to realize how and where we need to change. Let's see, what is going on here? Oh, okay, now I know what's going on. See, I found the piece. And I'll tell you, like, that is probably sometimes for us some of our biggest blind spots, right? Our biggest blind spots are the ability to be like, okay, where do I need to change? And it's hard. So, and I talked about that at one point when I was talking about the Johari window, right? I talked about the Johari window a couple weeks ago. And the idea of the Johari window is, you know, there are, yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, hopefully it's not my last build, right? So in the Johari window, we talk about how there are 4 parts of us, right? There's the stuff about us that we know and other people know, right? That's kind of the open self. And then there is the part of us that we know that we don't tell other people about. And I know for some of us that's different. There's the part that others know about us, but we don't know about ourselves. Those are our blind spots, right? And like, honestly, I think all of us have some big blind spots. But then there's the part of us that others don't know and we don't know. And that's kind of the hidden part. And the hidden self and the blind spot are the 2 most challenging places, because to expose those, we have to begin digging deep. And I think the reality is, and I think that's one of the things, like, most of us don't want to take the time to actually do that kind of reflection. I know that I don't, because it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to sit here and say, oh my gosh, what do I need to work on? Because I want to believe that I'm doing good enough on my own, right? I don't want to admit that I've got places that need to change. However, at the same time, when I don't take time to explore parts of me that may need to change, I limit my ability for growth. And at the end of the day, a growth mindset is important, right? Having the ability to say, okay, I know that there are parts of me that need to change and I need to work on it. That's huge. And what is going on? I am struggling with this build right now. Oh, I'm not struggling. I have to push this down. There we go. Push it down, push it down. So I don't know. I just think it's important for us to learn to explore those parts of our lives that need to be adjusted, whether we want to or not, right? Learning to explore those parts make a difference. And it's hard because there is this huge part of us that doesn't want to do that. And until we learn to do that, we're going to always struggle. Whenever things go wrong, it's always going to be somebody else's fault and not our fault. It's always going to be, well, someone else needs to do this and do that. And we never learn to say, okay, what is my, as my wife likes to say, what is my 5% in this issue? Like, where could I have done better? And I think that's hard, right? Because at the end of the day, the hard part of self-exploration is I have to admit that I'm not perfect. And man, like, I don't want to admit that. I maybe you do. I don't want to admit that I'm not the best person in the world, because then I might need to change. And that's the hard part, because once we realize there's something in us that needs to change, then we're no longer blind to it. Then we have to do the work. It's kind of like this right now, right? Like, I know that part of this Lego is messed up. And I know at some point I'm going to have to dig back and do through it. And I even see it's not lined up right? But right now, I'm not willing to go back and do that. And so I'm going to have to fix it later. It's kind of how life is, right? Sometimes we know, once we've done enough reflection and we realize, okay, there's some things in me that aren't good. And because they're not good, I'm going to have to go fix them. But man, the work is scary, right? Like right now, as I'm trying to get through this build, I've got to fix this mistake, and it's going to take me some time. And I really don't know where the mistake is. It's going to be hard for me to do all that work to find it. And it's easier for me to say, well, I'll just deal with it later, than to actually start dealing with it. And the challenge in that is it's a struggle, because I know what needs to be done. I'm just not ready to do it, because it might be hard. It might be challenging. I'm going to have to do some more things I don't want to do. It might be uncomfortable. And sometimes that's how change is, right? Like, I know now that I've been made aware of there's things in my life that need to change. And now I've got to do the hard work to do it. And man, sometimes it's just, I don't want to do it. I don't know how to do it. I think that's the great thing about marriage, right? So I have an amazing wife. She loves me. She does well. She does a lot of things for me. And what being married has taught me is that as much as I think that I'm not a selfish person, there's a lot in me that is still selfish. And so being married helps me learn to say no to myself and try to take care of my wife more. But at the same time, I've learned more about being selfless from her. This last year, we got a cancer diagnosis for me, and it's actually a family diagnosis because the whole family has to deal with it. But I have seen her give more of herself to take care of me and to make sure I have needs met than I've ever seen in anyone else. And so, I have learned from her what it means to be selfless, and it's revealed that there's a lot of growth that I need to do. And again, that's the hard part, right? When we become made aware of the fact that we have to change, it becomes hard because we just want to believe like we're good, right? We want to believe like we've got enough going on. And I don't want to admit that maybe there's some things I need to change because that's uncomfortable, that's hard, and nobody wants to do the work, right? But no, I encourage you, look at what's going on in your life and ask yourself, how am I today becoming a better person? How am I today becoming more like the person I want to be? One thing I tell people to do, and I'm bad at it myself too, is to ask yourself, okay, what in my mind, what in what I know makes someone a good mom, a good dad, a good husband, a good whatever, right? What are those qualities? When I think, okay, this is a good father, this is a good husband, this is a good whatever. When I think about that, what does that look like? And then you just ask yourself, okay, today have I become more like that person or less like that person? And if I've not become more like that person, well, what do I have to do tomorrow to be more like that person? Because really the thing is it's not really, so changing your life is not really complicated, right? It's not complicated. It's not complicated to try to be a better person. It's hard, but it's not complicated, right? It's hard, but it's not complicated. And I think I tell that to people all the time, being a good person, living a good life is not hard. Oh my goodness. This Lego is hard. But it's not hard, right? Being someone of character is not hard. It's not impossible. It's not challenging. But it is difficult, right? It is difficult. And the problem is a lot of us don't want to do the difficult. It's easier to just keep being who we are than make the changes to be who we need to be. And I think that is a testimony of what life is like, right? Nothing about changing is hard. It's not complicated. It's really easy to start evaluating. But where it's challenging, where it's difficult, is learning to be the other person, right? Learning to, see, there we go. And so the challenge becomes, look at that, I just turned my light off. So the challenge becomes learning how to be willing to do the difficult, right? Because again, like I said, it's not hard. Becoming a better version of ourselves is not a hard task. It's not hard, but it sure is difficult. It's not complicated, but it's not easy. The problem is most of us are content because it's easier to not change than to do the complicated enough, than to do the difficult work of transforming our lives. I know it's easier for me, right? It's easier for me to just stay the same than work to become a better version of myself. It's easier for me to keep being the kind of person I am than really work on becoming a better version of myself. And I wish it wasn't. I wish it wasn't. I wish that sometimes it would be easier just to do the hard work. But it's not, just like right now, I know there are things in this build that are so jacked up. And I know at some point I'm going to have to break it apart and fix it. But right now I'm not willing to do it. And I think that sometimes that's how we are in life, right? We know there are things that need to be changed in ourselves, right? And that's why I talked about that Johari window thing, the fact that there are parts of ourselves that when we take a reflective look, we know need transformation and change. It's just easier not to do it because the change is hard. The change is not what we want to do. And so, I don't know. And I think that's the benefit of having people that will help you open up that part of your life that is visible or not. Like, remember, there's 4 windows. There's known to everybody, known to me, known to others. There's known to me and not known to others. There's known about, others know about me, but I don't know. And then there's the stuff that none of us know. But when you have those people that care enough about you to tear past your circumference and say, okay, look, here's some things about you that you need to know about yourself. And man, sometimes they are not fun things to learn. Sometimes they are not things that you want to hear about yourself. But the reality is, the people that love you will sometimes tell you things you don't want to hear. And when they tell you things you don't want to hear, it's good for you, whether you know it or not. So, yeah. Anyway, so that's my chaplainly advice for the day as I'm trying to figure out how to finish this build, because I have screwed this up so much. But at some point, I will bring our daughter in here and she will dig through my pieces and figure out what I did wrong. But like I said, this might be my very last TikTok live. As we know, TikTok is probably going to go away. I don't think it will. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. If it does, it does. I mean, what it means is what? We'll have to start talking to our family members again. My wife will get my time back because she'll you stop doing TikTok lives, whatever. Joking. But yeah, I think that there's a lot to figure out what's going on. And like I said, I was talking about earlier about the idea of the mass following trend. And I think it's cool that people have been mass following. I know I've benefited from it. Like, I've added, I'm up to over 520 people. Now listen, I know there are not 520 people that are interested in my TikTok builds of my Legos. Like, I get it. Like, some people are just mass following. But I tell people, the danger of mass following is, I think they're doing it for one of 3 reasons. Either they think, well, TikTok's going to go away, so it doesn't matter, so I'll just follow everybody. Or they're like me, and they're like, well, I don't think TikTok's going to go away, so I'm going to try to get people to follow me so I can have more followers. Or they're like, oh, I'm just trying to monetize this eventually, so if I get more followers and TikTok doesn't go away, then people will follow me. Well, I think that's a bad way to do it, because if TikTok doesn't go away and you've just followed a ton of people, it's going to totally mess up your algorithms. And even if you get enough followers that you can monetize what you're doing, it's not, what you do is not going to get in front of the right people. So I tell people, yes, mass follow. I want as many people to mass follow me as wants to, but understand that I'm just going to follow people that produce content that I want to see, right? So if you like Legos, if you like some of the stuff I talk about relationships, if you like D&D, man, stuff, follow me. But if not, don't. But I mean, I really want you to follow me because it makes me feel good about myself. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. Getting closer to being done with this build. Oh, thanks for the glitter badge. I appreciate it. So I was talking earlier today, and some of you may have missed it. I was talking about understanding your why, right? Understanding the reason why you exist, what gives you purpose, what gives you direction. Because I said that what people have to understand is that you have to live for something beyond yourself. Because if you don't do that, you're not going to have a happy and fulfilled life. There has to be something beyond you that you live your life for. Because if not, what's going to happen is you're going to really struggle when life gets hard, right? Because you're not going to know what to do, and I'm trying to figure this out. And knowing the how and the why of what you do really kind of gives you purpose and direction in life. So here's one. Oh, I built that backwards. Like I said, my number 1 used tool is the Lego remover piece. But and so that what happens is when you start understanding the why of what you exist, what it does is it allows you to start evaluating what you do, right? Because the reality is there is a lot of things in life that grab our attention. And it's easy to get caught up in a lot of directions. But when you understand your why, the very reason why you exist, it helps you. Because I tell people that I basically got 3 general rules in life. Three truths that I think are eternally true. Life either does suck, has sucked, or will suck. It's all those things, right? It's either good now, it's either been bad, will be bad, or is bad. And when you believe that about life, which people say, well, that's a very negative idea. But when you understand that about life, then no matter what season you're in, you know it's going to change. But there has to be something beyond what you're doing now to give you purpose. And that something is different for everyone else, right? That something is different for everybody. My big something is my family and my faith, and those drive me, and those give me purpose and direction. But you have to find something that gives you a reason to exist, something that gives you a reason to evaluate whether today has been a good day or a bad day. And I tell people that the key is when you get to, when you're looking at that, when you get to the end of your day, you get to start asking yourself, okay, today, did I live my life in a way that I am closer to the why that I exist? Or did I live my life in a way that is farther away from the why I exist? I have a great job. I wish my job was building Legos, but it's not. But my day job is taking care of soldiers. I'm an Army chaplain, and that's what I get to do every day of my life. I get to take care of soldiers. And then also I get to take care of my family. And so I would love to say that every day I get to the end of my day and I'm like, oh, I maximized today and I took care of the best soldiers and I was the best husband. But it's not always true. But the thing is, if you don't take time to evaluate your why, right? If you don't take time to look at how you live your life, you don't really know if you're doing a better job. You don't know if you're becoming more and more like what you want to do. And so all that to say is I think that that's the advantage of learning how to reflect on life, learning how to figure out what you're doing and what you're not doing well. And I did this backwards again. See? So I don't know. What about you? What are your why? What are the things that make you exist? What are the things that give you purpose and meaning and direction? Like when you think about, okay, I've got to today. What made today a good day? What does that look like to you? What does it look like to become something better than yourself? I don't know. See, I did this wrong. I know we're almost done with this build, and then I'll be able to go to bed tonight. Woohoo! Doing my last TikTok build. Wow, I really hope this isn't the last time that I get to build with you guys. Part of me thinks that it's going to be, but I kind of hope it isn't, because I think that I've kind of enjoyed this little bit of a community that I've made here. Or a community that I think I've made, right? All right, so this goes here, and this goes here. Okay, hold on. So there we are. Facts, I'm trying to figure it out myself. Trying to figure what out yourself? Trying to figure out this build, or trying to figure out what life looks like? We've, I don't know. I think that there is a lot in life to figure out. There's a lot of life to figure out what happens when TikTok goes away. There's a lot of life to figure out what happens when life doesn't go the way I want it to go. Yeah, what life looks like. I don't know what that's going to look like. I think that's the scary part, right? We like routine. We like to have predictability. But man, life likes to just kick us in the nuts and take away stability, right? It likes to make things and plans we have disappear. At least that's what this year's done for us. We thought we had my wife and I thought we had a lot of stuff figured out. And then all of a sudden, we didn't. And when we didn't know what that meant. And what I've learned is you just have to be resilient, right? You have to take the ability to say, okay, life isn't going how I planned. Life isn't doing what I expected. Now what do I do next? And I think that's scary for a lot of people. It's scary to say, okay, I had a plan. The plan isn't going the way I want. And now what do I do? Because that's not how we like to live our life. We like to live our life like I have a plan. My plan is going to happen. If you've seen the old, I think it was Captain Cold from Flash, have a plan, make a plan, execute the plan, right? And that's how a lot of us have lived life. We make a plan, execute the plan, keep the plan. But what happens when the plan doesn't go the way we want it, right? What happens when the plan changes? Sometimes we just need a do-over, right? Sometimes, and the hard part about life is life doesn't give us do-overs. We can't just take a mulligan. We can't just say, okay, well, this didn't go the way I wanted. Let me just try something else. But I think that's the advantage of being able to reflect, right? To say, okay, like I know I don't get a mulligan, right? I know this is the life that I get. Like we get one shot at this world. And, sitting here at however old you are, like life didn't go exactly how I expected. Well, I can either complain about it and mope about it and then realize, or I can start saying, okay, well, I can't waste any more time trying to make what it is isn't. Because, I think one of the scariest things to do is to realize it is what it is. Like this is what it is. And now I have to figure something out. And so I think that's the dangerous part. So if anyone has built Commander Cody and can help me figure out what I'm doing wrong here, I would love to hear what I'm doing wrong because it's not coming together very well. I know these two pieces go on and I'm struggling to get them on. And then the next scary thing I have, oh shoot. I also have like some extra pieces left over. Oh, I knew where this piece goes. This piece goes here. Waiting for that piece. Then I have these extra pieces here. Let's see here. I don't know. I'm trying to finish this piece here. All right, now the fun part is to figure out why do I have these two extra gray pieces. You get a lot of extra pieces. I get extra pieces all the time. Let's see here. That's there. That's there. 4, 4, 4, 4. I got to dig through it now. Wait a second. Wait a second. No, that's not right. Yeah, it's what we make the most out of it. No matter how bad it is, we got to get pushed. Yeah, so I call it the Dory principle, right? Just keep swimming, right? Like, if I swim hard enough and far enough, then I can make sense of it. And that becomes a challenge, right? Because, like, what happens when I'm too tired to go forward? And I tell people all the time, like, depression doesn't always look like laying in bed not able to get out. Sometimes depression looks like going to work, putting a smile on your face, taking care of the things you got to take care of because you don't have any other choice. Sometimes we don't get the benefit of being able to just lay down and give up. And sometimes we have to keep going. And that's hard because a lot of people think that they know what depression looks like. And it looks like so many different things. And sometimes it's not depression. Sometimes we're just tired. Like sometimes life really has just kicked the crap out of us. And when it's kicked the crap out of us, like it takes, and I think it's okay to take a knee for a minute, right? I think it's okay to be in a situation where life has beat you up a bit and now you're taking a knee. I think that's way healthier than just driving on like it didn't happen, right? Like when you've had a major disappointment in life, right? And life has hit you hard. I don't think it's healthy to just drive on like it hasn't happened. I don't think it's healthy to say, oh, well, I'll get better. That's not healthy. You have to have time to acknowledge what happened to me wasn't right. What happened to me wasn't fair. What happened to me hurt. And when you have the ability to say, okay, this hurt, this was difficult, then you can truly mourn what you lost, right? And I know like people are like, build Legos, don't talk about sadness, but like if you can't take time to really have a moment and have people in your life that care about you to say, okay, yeah, what you went through sucked. And maybe it wasn't fair, and maybe it wasn't just, and maybe it hurt really bad. and really take time to sit with you instead of saying, just get over it. Man, like, that's hard because, like, I wish sometimes we could just get over it, right? Like, when people are like, oh, why don't you just get over it? You're like, wow, what a genius. Why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I just magically get it? Like, that's not how it works. There's nothing, I'm taking a break from this because I'm done, and I'm about to get out of here soon. There's nothing wrong with when life gives you a major, major disappointment. When life has seriously kicked you in the teeth, because, like, that's what life is going to do sometimes. There's nothing wrong with taking a moment and acknowledging what happened and taking that breath and saying, okay, and now what, right? Because I'm not saying that we lay down and we just give up and we're like, well, life sucks. I'm saying, yeah, what happened was bad. It has altered my sense of security, my sense of safety, my sense of whatever. It has altered that. And now I'm going to keep going, but I may not know what the next step is. And so that's why I'm a big fan of therapy, right? Of course, the chaplain's a big fan of therapy, and that's a big thing about life coaching. Say, hey, look, you know what? Here's what's going on in my life, and I don't want to give up, but I don't know what the next step is. And there's nothing wrong with taking a minute and figuring it out. Oh, that means I've been here an hour. Hold on. It's making me do this right. Put the pieces together. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with saying, okay, I don't know what to do next. And I think that's the biggest disservice we do to kids, right? Like, they get out of high school at 18, we're like, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? What do you want to do with the rest of your life? And, like, at 18, man, I didn't even know what I wanted for dinner. And so, I run in a direction of life, and maybe you get married young, maybe you don't, maybe you start getting some things done, and then you get to like 32, 33, and life has gone totally crappy, and it's not where you expected, and all of a sudden now you feel like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And everyone just thinks you should have it figured out. Man, I'm 48, and I don't have it all figured out. And if everyone sits here and says, oh, well, just do the next thing. Well, I don't even know what the next thing is. Let me tell you, sometimes the next thing is just waking up and doing what you know you got to do. I know there was one time I went through a stage of depression that was really bad for me. And I had a list of things that I wrote down. Get up, brush teeth, go. And it was the things that I had to accomplish, right? And what I'm saying is when you get into the things of doing what you have to accomplish, it helps you get there. But sometimes, like, people just want you to just suck it up and drive on. And you don't even know how to do that because you don't know what the next step is. So here's what I do with people, right? And I'm going to close after this because it's getting late here and I've got to go to bed. It's just a 4-step question. And again, I'm not a therapist, but I play one on TV. No, but I do. This is some educational stuff. You find out what it is you really want, right? I read a book just recently, right here. The book is called F Feelings, right? Anyway, but what is you figure out what it is that you really, really want, right? All of our choices are really driven off meeting our basic needs, whether it's security, love, safety, shelter. All of our decisions are driven on meeting these basic needs, right? So you figure out what it is that you, yeah, I did give you a copy of that book. Look, I would, like, if anyone ever hires me as a life coach, which, by the way, direct message me, I'll do that. Like, I recommend this book. But anyway, I digress. We find out what it is that you really, really want, right? What is it that you want to accomplish? Because all of our choices, whether good or bad, they are driven at helping us accomplish something that we want. And so we figure out what is it we want? What is that next step? What is it we really want? And then after figure out what we want, we ask ourselves, what are we doing to accomplish that? What are the choices we're making? What is the both healthy and unhealthy self-talk we're giving ourselves? What are we doing to achieve that? And then we evaluate it. Okay, so like that's what I said before. You know, what am I doing? Are the choices that I'm making, are the decisions I'm making moving me closer or farther away from the very thing that I want? And that's hard. So like when I'm talking with someone and they're like, oh, I want this, but all of their actions are taking them away from what I want. Then I start pushing back. They're like, I don't think you really want what you say you want. But we dig through that want and we figure out what our actions are doing. And then the last thing we do is we say, okay, I've acknowledged what I want. I know what I'm doing. I realize what I'm doing isn't really getting me what I want. So now can I plan a different thing? All right, so if what I've chosen to do isn't getting me what I want, can I do something different? And I said, that's why I said, you know, it's important to figure out what it is that makes you important. Hey, thank you for that gift badge. I appreciate it. What is it that gives you purpose, meaning, and direction? So I'm going to sign off here in a minute, but that's the question. Two things. One, man, if you've enjoyed this live, man, make sure you follow it. I'm going to try to put some clips up later. Like I said, this may be very last live. To become a #1 member on a team, look, I'm telling you, be the #1. And here's the thing. Zig Ziglar says, if you get people what they want, they'll help you get what you want. But what I want to tell you this is like, by the way, hey, look, you can private message me, DM me. I'll help you with some stuff. I'm not a therapist, but man, I would love to help people because that's kind of my passion. But so I said, figure what it is that gives you purpose, meaning, and direction. Like, what is it, those things that you really, really care about? And when you go to bed at night, ask yourself, am I doing things that draw me closer to the things that I care about? The things that give me purpose, meaning, direction. Because here's what I'll tell you. Like, I love Legos, but as you can see, man, I couldn't even build this one tonight without screwing up because I started talking. But there are so many things in life that drag our attention. But can we focus on what's important? What truly, truly matters? What gives you purpose, meaning, and direction? Because at the end of the day, that's what really matters, right? The things outside of yourself that you serve. Now, for me, like I said, a lot of like that is directly connected to my faith. Maybe you're not a religious person. Maybe faith isn't something that you give a lot of thought to. But there has to be something better than you, something outside of yourself that you give yourself to. Because that's going to give you purpose, meaning, and direction. That's going to help you find your why. Anyway, I'm going to sign off because it's getting late and I got to work in the morning. This will be my last live unless TikTok sticks around. You can follow me on Instagram at Lego Chaplain, or on Flip at Lego Chaplain, or YouTube at Lego Chaplain. It's easy. It's at Lego Chaplain. But yeah, follow me, direct message me. If you want some life coaching stuff, man, like I'm here to help you as best I can while I do my full-time job. Anyway, you guys have a good night. It's good talking to y'all. All right. Now I gotta figure out how to end this thing.